In these next two slides, we're going to show the importance of why you need a default gateway and a little bit about the function of ARP. So in this slide it says, communicating with hosts on the local network, no routing is necessary. So host A wants to communicate with host B on the local network. Host A is 192.168.11.10, host B 192.168.11.11. So we know host B's IP address. We look in the routing table, and in PCA's routing table on the PC, you can see there's an entry that 192.168.11.0 network, this network is on link. In other words, there's nothing to do. It's on link. All we need to do is to communicate with the host. Well, how do we do that? We need to find host B's MAC address. And the role of resolving the IP address to the MAC address in order to communicate with that host is left to ARP, the Address Resolution Protocol. So now all that PCA has to do is check its ARP table, and in its ARP table you can see that it knows that 192.168.11.11 has MAC address all B's, and so it can send a packet on the network with destination IP address 192.168.11.11 and destination MAC address all B's, and the switch, knowing where host B will forward it to the host, and host will see that all B's, this is destined for me, and it'll accept the frame or the packet on the network. So that's communicating on the local network and using MAC addresses to deliver the packets to the actual network interface. So this is a different situation though when we want to talk to a host on a remote network. To reach a remote network, you need a default gateway. So here's another scenario. This time host A wants to communicate with host B, but host B is across the internet, across the cloud somewhere else, and it has a public IP address. And host A says, okay, I want to send a packet to 209.165.100.49. Host A, the PC, looks in its routing table, and there's no entry for 209.165.100 network. So instead, it needs to use the quad 0 route to all unknown networks. For all unknown networks, we go to the gateway at 192.168.11.1. This is the purpose of the default gateway. If you don't have a route in your routing table to reach that network, you use the quad 0 unknown networks and go to the default gateway. So host A says, okay, I've got to go to the default gateway, looks in its ARP table and says, do I know the MAC address of 192.168.11.1? He does, at all C's MAC address. So he knows how to deliver it. So he crafts together a packet with the destination IP address of 209.165.100.49, but a destination MAC address of all C's. So this will get delivered to the router. The actual IP address destination is here, but the MAC address destination is the default gateway's MAC address. Once the packet gets to the router, then the router can do its thing and find the best path to reach this destination network and then forward the packet out of the right interface based on R1's routing table. So to reach a remote network, you need a default gateway. But if you want to communicate on a local network, you don't need a default gateway. You just need ARP to resolve the MAC addresses to deliver a frame or packet on a local network to the MAC address of the NIC.